miss you. And I shit you not. Oh, I
Y'all broke something. I blame you. Something just happened. Give me a second. Oh, you're kidding. All right, 1 second. We'll be right back. Good morning, everybody. Okay, it's actually working now. I don't know what happened. It loaded, you saw me freeze, and then everything died. Yeah, we got a runtime error, so apparently I got crushed by God. God came down and was like, yo, Gene, no. Good morning, good morning, good morning, but hello, everybody. Let's say hello to everybody. Are you ready? Oh, wait, where's Vanya? Vanya, where are you? Oh, there's Vanya. Terrifying. And now,
Oh,
Vanya,
I was
speak.
hiding.
Too bad. You're not allowed to hide. You have to be here now.
Fuck.
I know, right?
Get out of my room. I'm playing Minecraft. Fuck.
Are you Minecraft?
I haven't played Minecraft in a year now.
No. You're getting too powerful too quick. I'm getting too
powerful? Where's powerful?
dick. I don't know. Hi, Darth. Thank you for getting first. Hello, Annie. Thank you for the check-in. Hello, Lullaby. Thank you for the check-in. Hello, Liv. Thank you for the check-in. Where's second? Oh, okay, there's second. Thank you, Lullaby, for getting second. Thank you, Addie, for getting third. We'll say hello to everybody who's checked in so far. So, hi, Carmia. Hello, Brookie. Hello, Apocalypse. Hello, Alyssa the Witch. Hello, Ocean. Hello, Grimlock, the Cheeto Lord. Hello, Blue Valley Lilies. Hello, Skona. Hello, Misty Harvest. Hello, Crucy. Hello, Wolfie the Demonic Wolf. Hello, Jinxie B. And hello, Chub the Grocko. And hello there, Flowers. Hi. That's a lot of twerking. That is a lot of twerking. Who has that big of thighs, and how does that emote still exist on Twitch? I am proud of them for surviving that long. Give me a second. I need to look at these thighs for a little while.
Hey.
Sorry.
Sir.
What? Right. Scrandle. So we're going to be doing Scrandle, and Vonnie will have to drop off at a point, and then I'll be doing other stuff. So we'll be good. It'll be great. I'm sorry I took so long to wake up. I was getting up, and then I woke up and my alarm was going off, and it went off for about half an hour before I actually woke up. So
No, he's lying. He actually just hates me.
yeah, no, I was totally. I'm sorry.
Oh, he said yeah. It's confirmed.
Fight me IRL right now. 1v1 me. 1v. That's Minecraft.
Okay.
We're playing Minecraft today, Vanya. You ready?
I knew it.
We are the Minecrafters.
Never call me that ever again.
What's up, Minecraft, bro?
I'm gonna cry.
Oh, by the way, if you have not been sleeping this morning, I will fight you right now. Addie, go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard about your situation. Go to bed.
What do you do?
They haven't slept.
Oh. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Why have you not slept, Addie? Huh? Why have you not slept, Addie? What's
I'm
going
gonna
on?
cry.
You're gonna make Vanya cry. Vanya's crying because of you. It's all your fault, Addie. You hear that? You hear that Vanya's crying. All your fault. Not the ugly sobbing. Totally been up, not like 2 hours been up. What do you mean 24 hours? You're not... Go to... Why chat? Why voidlings? I don't believe in crying.
What does that mean?
Who knows? Anyway, chat. So for those of you who've not played this game before and who need to have an understanding of this game, we are going to be slowly building this into a tournament, starting sometime probably in December or January. But we'll be playing until then. Today the game is Scrandle 2. What we do is we go and brain's gone. Vonnie, what's this game again?
It's Scrandle. We look at foods from foodie matches, from their stalls. Then we see 2 of them, and then we gotta vote on which one has a higher rating than the other. Voted from people who also saw the food.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, we ready?
It's not just from the UK, it's around the world. It's international.
It's food time.
Chubb's eating the food. You don't even know if the food's good yet or not.
Nope, Chubb has to eat the first dish that's on there. Ready?
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
That's not bad.
Fuck! They got a good one. Oh, wait, I swore.
The rap's kind of sad. Okay, what are we doing with
That's
Germany baked
really sad peas.
All of this is sad.
It's not even wrapped. What happened?
I wonder if they're one of those people who don't like eating wraps, and so they unwrap them and just eat everything inside.
That's a sad way to live, though.
Oh,
Have
Grimlock
some faith.
constantly. I go between wanting chocolate and chewy candy, and then a specific chewy candy all the time, and I don't have any chewy candy, and it makes me sad.
You don't have any gummies?
No.
Do you want me to send you some? You can get some gummies.
Sure.
There's a lot of German food.
Is today German Day? Wait, is this the stupid
When was last time we
university ones
spent
again?
our-
I hate universities.
Those potatoes are not cooked how I would want them to be cooked. They need
Left
some
one?
roasted.
Yeah, they need to be something needs to be done with them. They're boiled. We're
There we
nailing these.
go. I'm gonna boil
Oh,
you
Spätzle!
alive.
I love Spätzle.
Oh, I
It's
want
an
that.
egg noodle.
I want
You
that
this
one.
Yeah? Wait,
I want that
what
one.
is this on the
Look, chocolate
right?
mousse. Cauliflower.
That's not called. Why is it green? What's that green thing? Why
This
is there
is
so many
cauliflower.
bumps?
Texture. It's like corn. It's ripped for her pleasure, Gene.
What?
You mean what?
It's gonna fall apart.
Look at the cauliflower. It's a Romanesco.
This is IKEA.
Schnitzel.
That's IKEA. Actually, this is somebody's house. This is some German family's house.
Why does the sauce look like that? That doesn't look like it's sauce.
It's like it's an aioli. It's a mayo.
Oh,
What do you mean the brown sauce?
I don't like mayo. Oh, brown sauce? What?
Eeny, meeny. Oh,
gravy?
are we doing things? Give me a second. Chet, you might have noticed that
You
the
want me
time
to-
on a lot of the voices has gone down. But the respawn time on the voices has increased. I mean, decreased. So you can choose the voices longer, but there's less time on them. Speaking of,
Hey,
we
bring me-
are going to be doing Leo for the next 2 minutes.
Fuck.
Yes.
Wolf. No, I wolfed Leo. I'm gonna
Why
cry.
would you? What is this?
Why
What is
is
this
the
law?
sausage?
Oh, it's
What's that
vegan.
sausage?
It's a vegan sausage. It's just a stick. They literally
Why
put a
are-
stick.
Why are vegan sausages always like the straightest things I've ever seen in my life?
Well, you think gay people make those?
True. I've never met
Exactly.
a gay vegan in my life.
Well, okay. Which one? Which one do you want? Do you want the weird, long,
What's that
sticky
mean, Gene?
sausage?
I kind of want the left. I would actually eat the left.
The left
Some
looks
yummy
tasty.
broccoli and potato. You would eat the right one because it looked like a doggy stick. Oh, it's another sausage. Look at that.
See, this one has a little bit of curve to it.
It's another
I-
vegan sausage.
Yes, but you also have to eat all of the bushes if you get this one.
Okay, yeah, real. That's like regenerated food.
Exactly. You never finish eating. You have to keep eating the bushes. They will never go away.
One of my favorite comedians slept in a bush once.
What?
Do you not know James Acaster?
I do not. Why did he sleep in a bush?
This is like a thing that he explained in a game show. It was like one of his like early acting gigs. Damn, people are wrong.
Why are these the
These
saddest
are some
noodles?
interesting photos. Why are they like offset? Do you know what I mean? It's like not centered. Who took
Is
these photos?
They look like they're trying
so
to take
mad.
photos for like the restaurant menus.
You're so right. University of Bremen. Since dude, these are like what's that worms?
I hate these.
Avocado cream. I've never had avocado cream on spaghetti.
Whoa, that's what that is? No. Why would you want
Why is it on
that?
spaghetti?
Because you're stupid.
Ugh,
Not you,
slimy.
but they are.
Ooh,
Which one? Which one are you umming about?
I like the left. Listen, the Italian casserole on the right, the portion, they either ate it already and then decided to take a picture already, like
Yeah.
afterwards. But like the portion is sad. That kebab looks good though. Even though it's like vegan, that looks really nice.
Vegan food is not bad. Some of it's good. Do you know what this is?
It's just how it's presented. It's just how it's presented most
This
of the time.
this is pre-cooked vegetables that they've just taken out of the package and tossed
Oh
it
yeah, the
down.
frozen bag of peas that like I use for like
Yeah.
my headaches.
Exactly.
That's
This is
real.
all.
That's prepackaged fries.
Yeah,
That is that is a patty. That's not a meatball.
Yeah, we're going with right. That's right.
Salmon. I love
That's right.
salmon.
Spetzel. I love Spetzel.
It's this one again. Wait, we just had this earlier. The hell?
We did not have the salad. This is airline
No, the
food.
pork
This is
stick did.
actually airline food. I've had that bread roll on an airplane.
What, last year when you came back from Germany?
Yeah, I had this bread roll on the airplane. On this tray, too. I'm pretty sure this is airline food.
Is that airline also owned by the people that own the campus? Kessel-Larten? I don't know how you say that word.
We did amazing, chat. All right.
Runner of the Mandate of Heaven. Did you read that? That's insane.
Scrandle of the Mandate of Heaven.
That's the title we got for getting 9 out of 10.
Oh. So goofy.
Are you a Mandate of Heaven?
I am
No,
the Mandate
isn't
of
it
Heaven.
the title for the Pope? I'm pretty sure that's the title of the Pope.
Thank you for the
They
follow,
look really weird
Christopher.
titles.
I thought that was like a
Flint?
Chinese
Flint
thing.
and steel. No. You know the Vatican Pope? They're not actually
Yeah.
called the Pope. They have like a different title. They have a couple.
Chat, I gotta Google the Mandate of Heaven. Give me a second.
I'm pretty sure it is.
The Mandate of Heaven is an ancient Chinese political religious concept that states a ruler's legitimacy comes from the divine authority, and their right to rule is granted by heaven. Ha! I wasn't making things up. I wasn't being weirdly racist all of a sudden to be like, China.
No, I didn't think. No, I didn't think you were racist. It's just they have something very similar in the Vatican too.
The thing I think about it though is that
Is it like that one video where it's like they go to heaven and it's like, oh, it's alright. I just didn't think it would be Chinese, and it's like Chinese like architecture in the clouds.
that's not what I was thinking about, but yes. No, I'm thinking about the bunch of like manhwa or whatever the Chinese version is, where they'll be like, "Oh yeah, he is the emperor, Mandate of Heaven, and he does blah blah blah." But because I love my kung fu bullshit. Roof. I'm so tired. Okay.
I'm pretty sure it is the same word. It's just spelled differently for Korea and China.
Well, one is
These are
manhwa and one's manhua.
Yeah, manhua would be the Chinese one.
Ah. So do you want literally cheese pizza that's nothing but cheese? Or do you want pork and gravy in a roll?
So the price of the pork and gravy is a scam.
What?
I'm gonna say it as it is. $20. But also, what cheese is on the pizza? Why does it look like that? Do you know what cheese is that?
Cheese. It's spelled with a Z.
What type of cheese?
Cheese spelled with a Z.
It's spelled with an S. It's right there. What do you mean?
No, that's the joke, is that it's not real cheese.
Oh, just like me?
Yes, everybody,
Not
Vanya
real.
is spelled with a Z now.
Where's the Z?
Well,
So, Gene, can you put your sausage away? God damn it, you're streaming.
why is it so
It's on your side, too.
flaccid and pink?
What are those gollops of mayo? Mayo with Oh, that is okay. Oh, it's from France. That explains everything.
So my name
Oh my god. Wait,
is Michael with a
Gene.
B, and I'm afraid of bees.
Gene, you got your dog sausage on your side, and then on my side, it looks like a turtle shell. It's like you picking me up as a little turtle. See what I mean?
I miss streaming last night. I do. Okay. Can we just have the prepackaged croissant? There we go.
Yeah. They're holding it up like a turtle. Why are they holding the sausage like that?
Why do they
Why
keep
is it
putting?
just one slice of pizza? Why is it one slice
Do you
of
think this was supposed to imply that there was an entire pizza before?
PayPal Park? Wait, where is that? Where is that?
South Africa?
San Jose, California.
Well, you know what they say.
What do they say?
Fuck Elon. All of my homies hate Elon. Ruff, ruff.
Ooh. Yeah, bark for me, baby boy. Yeah, we're doing the sausage. That pizza's sad. Okay, there's another hot dog. Mystery Scran, no
That's not
sauce.
mystery. you know what that is?
What
Give
is
it a
that?
follow. That's leberkäse.
I don't know what that is.
It's a hunk of meat. Oh, okay, chat. Give me a second. I'm going to show you what leberkäse is.
You're a hunk of meat. Wink
Thank
wonk.
you.
Thank you. I'm just saying obvious. I like how every time you tab out, it just brings Minecraft back on screen. Are you playing Minecraft?
What? No.
I'm at a 4-second delay. There's no way, dude.
Huh? Well, I totally didn't. I wasn't playing Minecraft.
Dude, I have 2 monitors. I can see.
I don't know what you're talking about. Anyways, chat. This is leberkäse.
Was it meatloaf?
No, well, it's not really. It's like a ham. It's like a ham loaf.
Like gammon ham?
It's leberkäse.
Yeah, I need what's that similar? Like, is it similar to gammon?
I don't know what gammon is.
I don't know what gammon is.
So I guess technically it could be Fleischkäse, but leberkäse is this is the classic, and it's really good. It's one of the greatest things of all time.
Should
And I
search
love
up
it.
gammon because I think it does look like it.
How you spell gammon?
Gammon.
Got it.
O-N. Not A-N. I don't know
Got
what you
it.
typed. Yeah. See?
Oh, that's just ham though. Like this is like processed ham.
Oh, is it like extra processed?
Yeah.
I like processed ham. Eat it.
Leberkäse. It technically means liver cheese, but it's not liver.
It's not liver? Why are they lying to me?
It might have once been.
I'm sad now. Spam for the win. I love spam. I really like spam. I know people don't, but I do.
Oh, you know what it means?
Hmm.
Wait. So it's compact loaf. It means compact loaf.
There has spam.
I love that.
Gene, do you want to know a fun fact about Dar?
Yes.
The official account on Twitter for spam follows Dar.
That's insane. Why? That's so cool.
I think they followed him for like 10 years now. I want to miss. What is? Oh my god. Crash out. Why is a burger hiding?
Who
Is it
took
shy?
this burger picture?
It's hiding.
Yeah, here's the burger. Ha ha ha. Totally a burger, guys. Not just a piece of bread I spent money on. We never vote for
$16
onion
for
bread.
that little burger.
And a drink.
That's at the Olympics. Dude, you got ripped off.
Oh, yeah, it's the Olympics. The burger.
Real.
What? Oh, it's
Oh,
ice
it's
cream.
the-
I thought that was butter.
Ice cream.
I
It's
thought
from
it was-
Bali too.
I thought it was just butter. There's like, yeah, there's your butter, man.
No, dude, ice cream sandwich is so good. It's so...
I believe it. I
Yeah,
believe it.
baby. It's the bread again. What is happening? Who rubbed their smegma on my burger?
That's back bacon. You know, I'm gonna have
Wait,
to
that's
choose
the
the
bacon?
stupid onion bread.
That's from Real Madrid?
Wow,
That's
the onion
gaudy
bread
as hell.
won.
Wow. Just got
It's
this
not-
pizza at the Barbie PSG game today.
What? Oh, that's a brick.
That's What is that? There's no way.
No, that's legitimately a brick. That's a rock. It's a joke,
I
I
just love
think.
this
Why they post
PSG.
it? Also, I wish they'd quit calling this pork hamburger. It's leberkäse.
It's just how they translate it. I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, but it doesn't need to be translated. The other one was mystery scran.
I'm a mystery scran. What am I made out of? Okay. Wait. I kind of like these.
You like the white sandwich that's of whiteness?
Never mind, not that. There should be more chicken in that.
There should be other
Yeah.
colors. What is this picture?
Hey, Gene, you like my sausage?
No.
Oh,
Veggie burger. What do you mean they chose that?
it's a fake sausage. It has girthy on it.
That doesn't make it fair.
Well, womp womp. Oh, redeems.
Okay. I'm such a good doggy. There you go. And thank you
Don't
everybody
make
for the
me have to
check-in.
say
I
it.
appreciate it. I'm not gonna make
Daddy
you
likes
say it.
my sausage. Yay! I'm happy.
All right, you ready for the daily?
Whoa!
Why is the daily
Does
good?
it come with the guy? Does it come with the guy?
Yeah, you buy
Hometown chili dog.
They give you a guy to carry
2
it.
foot long. 2 foot long, 1 pound dog. 1 pound for cheese. What the hell? What the helly?
This is called
Why not a
die.
fry? Dude,
I
I
mean,
would want to die to that. I would actually get Drillers Stadium
give me the
this
dude.
year.
Chat, we found Addie's
Yeah.
type. Hawaiian fries though.
Addy, I'm gonna cosplay that dude. Alright. It's the sausage roll. It's the one that just goes off screen.
You don't know where it ends or where it begins.
Oh, I'm mad. Look at the right.
Yeah.
They didn't take the silver casing off the pie, so like the gravy is just. I'm
Gotta
so
go with
mad.
the pie though.
But like, dude.
This is the ideal, going to a baseball game food. The one on the left looks better,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, but the right is like what you want at a baseball game. Perfect. Flawless.
Chili sauce. I wouldn't have it with that chili sauce. I would have it with like brown sauce, maybe.
Pretzels are so good. Pretzels are so good.
I want a fresh pretzel. Chicken wings. It's
Are
that
we sure?
breakfast box.
Are we sure those are chicken wings?
Are we sure about what? You mean? Yeah.
Look, they're so zoomed
You
in.
can
How do we know they're chicken wings?
No, you can tell the shape from the bottom left one. How it's like a little like stick. Yeah.
Okay.
It
I
just
know
sounds fried.
I can read Karami. Both do look weird. I do like that he's like, I don't want you to really see my meal. Look at the sign instead.
There's no black pudding. It's not a full English breakfast.
I'm sorry, Addie, I can't read.
No.
The breakfast,
he's
though,
a little
right?
bit. I kind of like both of these though. That's the thing. Like I'm actually like, I'm
Fine.
stun locked.
Chat, you get a pick.
You pick. What do you mean?
Chat gets
Don't
a
you have a
pick.
choice? Okay.
Nom, 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 nom.
I wanna drink your brain with a straw.
You're not allowed to.
I'm gonna do it in your sleep.
Do not drink my brains in my sleep. I need those.
You took my brain cells. I need them back.
No, you don't. I'm putting on pants just
I
because of you.
I do.
You're the reason I'm putting pants on. I hope you know that.
You took my pants.
I hope not. These pants are not going to fit me if they're yours.
No, I get them a size big.
A size
bigger than me.
extra big.
Yeah, I love big baggy clothing.
I knew it. I knew it.
What does that mean? What do you mean I knew it?
I knew it.
You call me fat?
No, I'm calling you sad. All right, chat. What do we vote on? What do we vote?
It's a tie.
What the frick? Chat, you're hopeless. I'm arresting you. I'm sending you.
Flip a coin.
Okay, I'm gonna flip a coin. You ready? Heads or tails?
Yeah, I'm ready. Heads is for first. Tails is for second.
No. What?
Heads for the chicken wings, and then tails is for the breakfast box.
You're supposed to pick heads or tails.
Me?
Yeah.
I want some heads, so I'll go for heads.
I lost the coin.
Oh.
Damn.
Damn it. See, I would get both of those. Okay, hold on.
Ooh.
Okay, these both look really bad to some people, but they would
Right?
taste so good.
Right? These are like right on the edge of yeah.
Okay, but you know those veggies that like look like dark and like kind of like mono? It's like, oh, they're not like bright, like yummy vegetables, but like they would taste so good. Oh, with the gravy too and stuffing. But also like the pizza.
Oh, but I know that
That's a
pizza is
five-man pizza.
perfect. That pizza is perfect.
Yeah.
Like because
The
that
grease
you know
has
that
already seeped into the cardboard. It's like so good.
that cheese is funky. Like it's good and funky. Like it's cooked underneath a heat lamp in just the perfect way that makes it delicious.
Pizza. It has to be pizza.
Pizza.
Yeah.
I do like that broccoli a lot though.
Same. Ooh.
I'm closing my eyes. Pick one.
Ooh. I have to go to... Wait. We have an easy answer. It's the second one. Colorado. You gotta represent you.
What?
These are both really good though. Yeah, the second one's from Colorado.
Oh. Oh. Solid.
Told you. I knew it.
What is the
Now,
okay?
why are they holding it? Look at how they're posed.
Why is it at this place they keep wrapping all of the sausages in wraps? Did they run out of bread?
Okay, but look at how they're posed.
I mean, man knew what he was doing. I hate
Hey, Gene, can we recreate this photo in real life?
No.
Both of them. No, oh man.
I hate the one on the left so much though. It's the wrong
What
bread.
is that? Like a tortilla? Like, what is it?
Oh, this is a flatbread, a lampe.
Oh. I want to just eat the hot dog, I guess. But like, I guess it's two sausages. Food various. You don't even expect. Oh. Wait, but the giant pretzel. Oh.
No, all of this is like really solid, like cheese sauce
Wait,
with
this
the
is
nachos.
29. Wait, 28 for all of this.
Yeah.
Go. That has to win over
That's buffalo cheese.
That's like $13 though for just that.
You're wrong.
No way. No way. The burger. I hate Prime burger. I know it's.
Damn.
What is? These are children. These are children. It's Thailand. First off, it's Thailand. But I gotta go with the pizza.
I don't know. Chat, which one do you want? Oh man. Good morning, Aribu. How you doing? Morning.
In SEA countries they eat bugs. They're a good source of protein.
They kind of look tasty. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of mess with that.
I want the crickets and the mealworms. I don't like the other stuff. I'm like very picky. Oh, it's Aribu. Hello.
Oh, I'm so tired. Why are they
Those
neon
peas
green?
are so green.
They're still green.
Cauliflower wings. That's chicken and celery.
No, that's cauliflower.
That's cauliflower?
Mm-hmm. You can make some good cauliflower wings. There's a place near me that does vegan food that's really, really good. And they do a vegan and gluten-free chicken and waffles, and it is amazing. I'm very surprised.
I've never had chicken waffles, but I want to try it one day.
Okay, well, first you get a waffle.
Okay.
And then you... Oh, wait. Can we get a shout out for Aribu?
Huh? Oh.
Let's get a shout out for Aribu. They do cool stuff. They're very cool. I like them. Pat.
I was lurking in their stream yesterday after you raided out.
Did you fight them?
No.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry you didn't get fought by Vanya. I'll make sure they do it next time. You got this.
What does that mean? I don't fight people. I don't let new pies.
That is not a new pie. You lie. I hate that I'm gonna have to choose the new pie though.
that fuck ass cheese. I'm sorry, arf. But like,
I don't
Well,
know
clearly
why
it's a
they.
good pie because he ate it already
Yeah,
before you could take the photo.
that's fair. I would have also
What
not
is
voted
wrong
for
with
him
people?
because he was eating it. What do you mean a cup of mashy peas or a meatball sandwich? Literally.
No, it comes with some crisps though.
These suck.
You know what's crazy? My dad would pick the left. My dad would pick the left.
Well, let's see if your dad's
I would
right.
not.
Your dad was right.
Oh my god. No. Delaware.
Ooh.
Oh no. Oh no, it's West Ham.
Yeah,
Oh
no,
no.
that's a Döner burger though. Look at that. Do you want weird $1 sausage or do you want the Döner burger?
I have to go on the $1 dog because I know West Ham's catering is really, really bad.
I mean,
And I
it's why
say
the
that as
burger's
someone
burnt.
that like, yeah, they're shit at cooking, Arf. But like, dude,
You want the weird dollar sausage?
sausage.
No, you don't get the weird.
Yeah,
Damn it!
I told you! I told you! I literally told you. Oh.
Why are we back at this stupid? Who keeps doing this?
Pick the
Who
Instagram.
keeps doing
Pick
this?
the Instagram photo. Wait, that's not real. That's AI. That has to be AI, right? That looks like an AI
that's
photo.
real. That's one of those stupid filters because it's on Instagram.
Pick the Instagram one. I don't like the cheese. It's not even melted.
The
it's
cheese
not
of rage.
proper. Don't say cheese. Why is it cheese? Because of it. Oh, I'm mad. That is like the whitest white woman chicken club sandwich I've ever seen. There's like no seasoning or anything on that.
round?
Oh wait, it's not a wrap. That's a sandwich.
That's
what
a bread.
the
Somebody
hell?
rolled the bread. There's a.
White man has been here. How do you know? They showed him a picture of this.
That's so funny. White man has been here. How do you know? Mayo sandwich. It's just so round. I mean, honestly, though, this is still unmelted cheese.
And no, look at how they did the gravy. It's like soggy. And then
All
melt
of this
the
is
cheese.
wrong. Okay. All right, we're gonna make Grimlock pick it. Grimlock, which one are you picking?
You hate it? Which one is it? Both
Do you
of
want
them?
do you want the round bread with the ham chunk? Sorry, chicken chunk with the weird shredded lettuce, and I don't know how they made
It's
the
from
bread. It's kind of
France.
interesting.
Oh my god, it's from France.
Or do you want unmelted plastic cheese?
That's
Eeny,
soaking in
meeny, miny,
gravy.
mo, catch a tiger by his Grimlock. You're the Cheeto Lord. Embrace your destiny and pick our future.
I would honestly try the one on the right because it does look interesting. I go with fries.
Grimlock was right. Congratulations. Oh no, it is called plastic cheese because in other places it's not called American cheese. It's called plastic cheese. Why does hot dog be
out a hot dog?
Why it be bursting at the tip?
Yeah, Gene.
The roundness was so interesting. We've seen this one before. That is a solid pie.
Yeah. See, they're doing it correctly. Soak the top of the pie in the gravy.
There we
That's
go.
the correct way to do it. Hello? Oh.
You're
did my
back, you're
internet
back,
cut
you're
out?
back, you're
Uh-oh.
back. All right.
Gene, I'm sorry. I'm so scared.
You're not. It's okay, Vanya. Sometimes you just.
The moon wants me back.
All right, chat. So I'm gonna pick the. Personally, though, I really like it because of.
Okay. I see what we're doing here.
So we're gonna pick.
Chat, this guy just hates me so bad. He hates me so bad. He just wants to bully me all the time, man.
All right, which one are we? Oh, don't poke me! Stop it! Ow, my head! No, no.
As I was trying to say, that's the correct way to do gravies and pie. You flip it around and you soak the top with the gravy. That's the correct way to do it.
Chicken. It does look good though. I do want the pie.
People don't. Oh, it's another sausage. What is that?
Oh, this is just
Austria.
cheese bread. This is literally just cheese bread. Bread and cheese.
Why are they holding it like an artifact? That
Why
is
is there so
$10
much sausage
sausage
wrap? Or did they just keep running out of bread?
That's $10. That's
It's America.
$10. Austin, this is in Texas, bro.
Knew it.
Ooh.
Choose my curvy sausage. Ooh. Ooh.
These are both. No, it's the pie again from the right. We picked the left. Yep.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh, 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 oh. Oh. I kind of like the smoked sausage slaw sandwich, but also I think the chorizo is going to be a lot better.
Dude, overloaded tacos. Ooh.
There we go.
Yes.
Tacos all the way.
Thank God.
That's right, chat. We are a confident scrandler. Watch me scrandle. Now watch me scran. Now watch me scrandle.
I'm about to leave this call. Do not ever quote that song to me again. Chad, did you know that guy went to jail for killing his cousin? The guy who made that song.
Oh yeah, he did.
It's air pie and the sausage. Yay! My favorite.
Wait. Was there like no fillings in it?
Yeah, it's just empty.
Air pie.
Me too, buddy. That's what my head is. Ooh, they took a chunk out of the hot dog.
He was hungry.
Impatient.
He was so hungry. He's like, no, I'm hungry.
Are you hungry?
I am very hungry. Chat, we're
It
gonna
would be
order
the dog where it's like, you know the videos where it's like, I got this food from like Taco Bell, and then the dog comes in and it gets a bite out of it right as you start the video. That's you.
Me.
You
I'm
are that dog. Yeah, and then I put you on timeout. Oh, the peas won for once.
All right, chat, you gotta look at this while I grab me a little sandwich.
Hot dog.
All right.
It's the hot dog again.
Vanya, explain why this one is right or which.
Not what? What? Why is the hot dog green? Oh, from what I know, because I've never had these hot dogs before, I'm pretty sure they do this for like St. Patrick's Day. I'm pretty sure. They just dye the bread, or they put like pandan in it. Maybe. I'm crying. Don't cry. I don't know what a tiger loaf is. It could be the theme. I'm pretty sure it's to do with St. Patrick's Day. That pulled pork looks so good though. I would actually eat. This game makes me never want to eat food again. Listen, Addy, there's a difference. This is Scran. This is not like real delectable food. There is a distinction to be made. It had crackling. Oh, Carmilla, you're so right. Oh, I love crackling. Carmilla, you're real for that. I don't know, people be eating them. I've eaten Scran before, but like at least like decent-ish Scran. I don't go for bad Scran. Chewy or crispy crackling though. I like the crispy one with the tender meat. That's how I would do it. I'm not a big fan of the chewy ones.
Okay, so which one do we choose?
So, left.
Because of communism?
No, left Fanta. Communism? Where is this? Vietnam?
Do you want raw fish?
It's the fish. It's the fish again. It's a. Oh, great! We got a pie. I got a pie. Oh, Gene, you gotta pick the pie. I already took a chunk out of it because I'm that dog. I'm that dog in me. I'm that dog in you.
Are you sure you don't want raw fish?
No, I want the pie. I want the pie.
Valid.
I want the pie. Yum. There's chicken wings again. That's a cute burger.
Why does what chat Google what this means?
Does he not know how to spell the word fiction? What is that?
Oh.
It's just a reference, I guess.
It's fiction in
Raw
another
fish.
language.
Raw fish makes you vom. Wait, do you not like sushi? I love sushi. I had sushi earlier. That's what I ate.
Burger or wings? Do you know what's funny? This is the same wings that were on the left side before, but they look better because they're on the right.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. Is that like a thing?
Oh.
Imagine people like, no, that's such a bad thing to be allergic to, though.
I'm sorry, Grimlock. It turns out that I'm actually a fish. Get allergies.
Are you rerunning? Because right is right. That's real. You gotta pick the chicken wings.
Chicken wings? Okay.
You just know those chicken wings would slap. Yes, they slap my ass like a drum. Because right is right. Real, Canary.
What are they doing here?
What happened to the sausage? Is that PSG? It is PSG.
What's PSG?
It's a Paris team. It's a football team. I have a little history with them. Wait, it's $24, Gene, for water and dough.
No, there's a cheeseburger somewhere here. Can you help me find it? Chat, there's a
No, it's
cheeseburger
gone.
here. Can you help me find it?
Is it that pint of piss in the background?
Who do we
Did it
ask
liquefy?
when we need to find something?
The French.
The map.
Actually, no.
That's right, chat.
Did you
Can you say it with me? Map.
Are you Gene the Explorer now? What's going on?
Say it with me, chat. Map.
Don't ever ask the French where they put their stuff because of the heist that happened recently.
Did
you see
so
it?
Funny. Yep. I'm the map. I'm the map. I'm the map. I'm the map. There's a place you wanna go. I'm the one that you should know. I'm the map. 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 Actually, yeah, there's another line. I think it's a place you want to get. I'm the one you need yet. I'm the map. Anyway, yeah, I found the burger. It's at your mom's house. Sausage.
Oh, I don't want to be there.
Kanari, thank you for the subscription. I appreciate it. Welcome.
We found the burger. We found the burger. Oh, hold it.
Oh, you know what we need to do? Chat 1 sec.
Have you heard the new notification sounds on PC for Discord?
Yeah, the Halloween themed ones.
They're freaking me out.
You can turn them off.
What if I just keep jump scaring myself?
That'd be funny.
What are you looking at?
Thanks for the follow. Looking at your mom.
No, don't look at her.
Womp womp.
No, she doesn't. No, Gene, she doesn't deserve your gaze.
Yeah, you're right. I should get to keep my gaze. I love my gaze.
Yeah.
All right, chat. If you refresh,
look at me instead.
You can have text to speech.
Hello, I have aggression.
You have
Go
aggression?
ahead, McGrim. No, this one has a question. It's me every
What's
day.
your question?
I have a question. I have a question for you, Gene.
Yes.
I'm putting my fingers in it. Do you like me? When was the last time you seen a root beer commercial?
Late 2000s? Early
Never.
2000s.
I've never lived in the U.S., so I've never seen them.
I think I saw it on like a band ad or something. I've seen it in a magazine. Been a long time though.
Magazine?
I hate the Cobb sandwich thingy where they just throw. Wait, what's Cobb?
Cob of chips and sausage. It's
Is that the name of the sandwich?
it's just a type of bread or something. Oh no.
Got you.
I don't know what they're doing in Wales. Would you like to know something interesting? Yes, Grimlock. Gene is confirmed old. Gene, you just doxed your age, Grange. Oh my god. Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna go join the trap population.
No.
Bye, chat.
No, Gene, no. can't say that. What is it? Oh, Gene, you can't say it. You can't say it. Jane, come back. You're blowing your nose. God damn. You needed that. Oh, Chad, you missed out. That's like free content. That was free content. You wanna know what Gene sounded like when he blew his nose? You went, choo. He's like, achoo. Like a
I
little
did.
anime girl. He was so cute.
I'm sorry, Chad. I'm actually a little anime girl. I didn't know how to tell you this, but senpai.
Gene's my cute little Discord kitten. I'm starting to pick it. Whoa. Whoa. Am I Leo or am I Big Mac? Wait, hold on.
Yeah, I actually use a voice changer. I really sound like this all the time. No, I don't. So tired. I'm so tired. Why am I alive?
I would do one like I would do like an Alpha Wolf voice, but like I don't have the voice range for that. That is not what an alpha meaty boy sounds like. What voice changer? I need that.
And when was the last time I did see? Give me a second, chat. I need to look up when the last time I saw a root beer commercial was. I could have sworn I've seen one before.
They have ads for that. I thought it was a joke. When they use a voice changer, he doesn't. If you're asking, like, seriously, it's a bit.
This is what I've seen. I've seen this.
This is old as hell, dude.
Yeah. And the name's Mouse. I haven't seen it on TV. I think I saw it like this. I never saw it on TV. I saw it on like YouTube.
It's gonna be thick-headed. Oh,
because that was like the era.
That
was the era of like, you know, all the band ads, and I would watch those. You saw those that on TV? Wow. I could go to a root beer float.
Oh.
Anyways.
I've never had A&W root beer, but the root beer I've had before in the past I just don't like.
Yeah?
Might not be for me.
What don't you like about root beer?
I heavily associate it with my ex, to be fair.
That's
well,
fair.
I don't know. I don't. You know how people are like, Dr. Pepper tastes like medicine or whatever? That's how I feel about root beer, personally. That's how it tastes for me.
What do you mean that's not
I just
Scrandle?
tapped into stream, motherfucker. I see you. You're playing Minecraft.
No, I'm not. Prove it.
You're playing Minecraft. I see it.
Where?
I see it.
What screen? Minecraft? Oh,
what do you
right.
mean,
Sorry,
what screen?
I forgot what we're doing.
What do you mean, what screen? What do you mean, what screen? I have both things open, Gene.
Yeah. Well, do you know what that means?
Look.
You have a 4-minute delay, so that means I can keep alt tabbing.
Wrong. I have a 4-second delay. You can see on the top right of my screen. Don't ask about my tabs. I have way too many open. That's why I was tabbing out a lot. Okay, what do we have here? The steak or burger, whatever it is like off frame. That's a really bad. Gene, where'd you take my brain? Where'd you take my brain? Where'd my thought go? I don't know what I was gonna say. No. Maybe Vanya will let you play if you cry. Do you want to cry for me, baby boy?
We're choosing the steak
I think
bun.
I scared him off. I think I scared him off.
Why is this back? It's definitely better.
It is better.
I see you didn't. I see you didn't pick me. let me run by again.
It's the most yandere girlfriend I've ever seen in food. Holy moly!
Ooh.
The film on the right looks so good.
The one on the left looks so sad.
It does look kind of sad.
It was not made right.
Butter chicken curry. That's butter chicken curry? No. You have to do the euro.
Damn. What just
Sorry,
happened
the
to you?
just came out from my throat.
I was about
There's
to
an
say.
alien in my throat.
Squash the alien.
I don't know. I crushed the alien. I think that's a wait. That's only a 7 TV. Hold on. Oh, we got a raid.
Raid? What the heck? We're doing another one. What is up? What is up? What is up, Raiders? Oh,
DT.
chat. I gotta do a thing. Give me a second. Give me a second.
Wait.
Stay here,
Can you
Vonnie.
bring me with? Oh, wait. Where are you going?
Hello, Raiders. Hello. We have an incoming ad break. We're gonna snooze that ad break. Luckily, wow, the ads almost took you away from me. That would have been embarrassing. Hello. How was stream? Wait, LuckyJene, we've been on the pursuit through Phantom Pain, but now we're feline fine. No need to be stealthy. We're just kidding around. Hope our catastrophe doesn't cause any Scrandle. What the heck? That's crazy. What did you I like this. I like the name. But hello, Raiders. My name's LuckyJene. I'm a gambler, a writer, and soon-to-be villain. And, you know, I've been trying to get to Coast to Partner. So I came up with a plan. So all the Raiders that come by here, I talk to them, bring them here, say, hey, how's it going? And then we hit a little button, and then, well, hi, welcome. Enjoy being stuck here. I hope you like your time here. I do feed you eventually. But yes, I feed some of you sometimes, depending on how well behaved you are. Yep, you're stuck here now. Sorry. I mean, you've been streaming for 12 hours, so you're gonna be stuck here for even longer. That's rough. That's rough. I'll give you a blanket in the corner. What? Oh, fair enough. You got spicy ramen last time? You did get spicy ramen last time. I'm still going through that TikTok. I told people I would respond to every comment for 24 hours. Do you know how many comments there were? 1,000 comments. It is 1,000. I'm so tired. I'm still responding to everybody to approve or disapprove. But yes, hello. What were you playing? All right, let me check. I'm gonna go spy on you. Give me a second. No, it might not have been. Maybe they lied. Maybe they came in and hate you. Oh, you're right. It was Phantom Pain. That's a good game. Did you enjoy it? Don't. I want to play the new old one. Because I never played Snake Eater when it came out, and it looks fun. I want to shoot an old guy. I want to do the thing where you can kill him by waiting for him to die. It's the best. The new old? Really? Phantom Pain is so good. I like Phantom Pain.
Someone took your pillow? Why are you stealing each other's pillows?
Y'all stop. That's Minecraft still. My bad.
Why are you back on Minecraft? Hey.
I like Minecraft.
I'm gonna spray you, Gene. With a unlabeled liquid.
You'll get to go back in the cage. Don't worry, chat. I promise I'll put you in there. It's gonna be great. But yes, Quinn, sorry. If you need to raid and run, feel free to do so. And if you'd like to hang out and vibe with us, do so as well. We're playing Scrandle right now. It's a game where we compare food at soccer matches or football matches, depending on how you want to call it wrongly.
How dare you?
And yeah. I have to pick the day.
At 21.
And they're
That's
awful.
a new look for that bread. That's a new look. Wait, is that condensed milk?
I don't want to know what it is.
No.
I don't want to know what it is.
That's condensed milk. That is condensed milk. Look at the texture of it.
I refuse. Who chose that over that?
It's condensed milk.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
I'm fat.
Ooh.
I'm so fat. I would eat both of these.
I don't know what to pick. These are actually both really good. You can't pick both, though. Quinn, which one would you like? If you could pick either one of these two, which would you pick?
I'm getting heartburn just from staring at your screen.
Oh, yeah. It's delicious.
It's a toffee apple. You know what? Gene, they don't know what toffee apple is.
Well, I mean, Addie also doesn't know what, like, breathing is sometimes, I'm convinced.
Damn! You
No,
just
so
hate her.
The one on the right is a toffee apple crumble. So it has apples and caramel and stuff.
And custard.
Yeah, so this is a dessert thing. Left bet. Ooh, you got it. Proud of you, Quinn. GG. By the way, we are going to be doing a Scrandle tournament at some point. Oh, the Rib Man. Welcome to the Rib Man.
It's from last time too. Oh no. Is that? What are 2 types of piss? Why is one more lemonade-y? The Hooper special.
I don't know how I feel about the Hooper special. I gotta go to
Rib Man this time.
Yeah. Yep.
This is the one time. Yeah.
I hate the pie roll. I hate
the
pie roll.
Eye. Look at the little eye. Look at the little eye. It's staring at you.
Why was this made? They run out of like things to hold the pie in, and they're just like roll.
The dirty mac and cheese.
We'll eat the dirty mac.
Or the dirty Big Mac.
That's just KFC.
Unidentified scrap.
That's just KFC. That doesn't count. You can't just have KFC. That doesn't count.
That's not KFC. Herbs. Oh wait, it is.
Honey Bunch.
Yeah,
do you see this old man here?
No, because we have different. We have different. I love Scotch eggs. We have different wrapping for a KFC over here.
Well, your wrapping is. Who allowed this man to take this picture? Also, that is most definitely not roast potatoes and gravy. That's sausages wrapped in bacon.
What, the pigs in a blanket? Is that what they're called?
What is wrong with the image on the right side?
They're from Oxford City, dude. They got no brains left. They got fried.
We're gonna have to go to the one on the left.
I kind of hate the cheese on the left. I hate the cheese on the left, but we have to pick it.
Because I don't know who took that picture.
That's so goofy. Chicken teriyaki bowl. Order pie.
Oh yeah. What you picking?
I would fall in love with that pie mash and start a family of it, but I know people are picking the left, so I'm sad.
Yep. Yeah. Right. They just don't like pie.
They don't like British food, which is like fair, but also.
Yeah.
What happened?
Oh, that's the plastic wrapping on it that they've microwaved it in and it's melted. They microwaved it in the plastic wrap it was in, and then just gave you the whole thing.
At the back. No.
That's plastic, chat. I don't think that's paper.
No, they couldn't peel it off. It's like stuck there.
Weird pizza?
That is a weird cut of pizza, to be fair. It's not a great lineup.
This bratwurst is disappointing.
Why is it angled like that?
Because nobody knows how to take pictures of their sausage at any other angle.
Oh, because you know so much about that gene, don't you?
Yeah, I'm awful at taking sausage pictures.
Clip it. Chat, clip it.
I don't take many I don't eat many sausages.
That's all I meant. Match day pie? Why is that taken so well?
I'm trying to comprehend what it is. There's no clip command because I can't figure out how to make one.
We're gonna ask Pinky. Pinky knows how to do it.
Oh. I know it's the one on the right, obviously, but what is it?
Match day pie.
Yeah, where? Where's the pie?
I don't know how that pie works.
It's in I don't know. It's so
Match day pies. Is that just how they do their pies? I've never seen a British pie squared, like cubed. What is circular?
Valid though. Woo!
It does look good.
Silent Asarius, and I don't know what that means, but we're doing great.
Scranianson.
What was that other game?
Oh, Foodguessr.
Yeah. Also, do you need to head out, or are we still good?
He said he will reach out to me, and I have not been reached out to yet, so we are good.
All right, chat. Some of you are really good at this one. So we're going to do daily. Let's go.
Immediately, okay.
Where's the food from? Ducky? Ducky. Duck
Manioc flour.
I can't read this. Duck Tucupi Jambu. Garlic, onion, chicory, salt, pepper, manioc flour, cassava root. Ooh, where do they eat cassava?
A lot of places.
But less than you think. You think France? Oh, France could totally. Yeah. This feels with France. Ice cold.
Is it South American? I feel like it could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's not guess Brazil. Let's go Chile.
Like, that's a
warmer.
Good guess. So it's warm. Pato no Tsupi.
Mexico. Cold. Okay. South America.
It'd be really funny if this is from like Brazil.
I'd be so mad. Give me a second. No!
Sorry.
What the heck?
It is from Brazil.
So for those of you who don't know, the reason we don't pick Brazil is because Brazil is so massive that it takes up like most of the countries in South America are next to Brazil. But
it's too big.
That's crazy.
I love duck meat.
Minced meat in this.
Savory.
Germany.
Is it Germany? I've never seen that cup of liquid before.
Austria.
Oh.
Nope. Czech.
Did that say got sauce on it? Not yet. What sauce is that?
Where? In the cup?
In the cup. Yeah.
Honey, that's a drink. It's like Glühwein. It's like wine or something.
Oh. I'm thinking too deep about it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a giant sauce cup. That's what it is. Polish? Poland. Oh, Poland. It's gotta be Poland. That's right, chat. There's a femboy in that.
What? They put it inside?
Well,
no wonder Poland's so sad. They cook all their femboys.
They have too many. They have an ex. What is this?
Ooh. This has to be from SEA, right?
Sponge cake, egg, sugar, flour, milk, butter, baking powder. I don't know, but it's like a pie container.
Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't potatoes. It's like a croquet. Croquette.
Femboy Gene's there. Gene is not femboy. He's a hot chunk of meat. You sure the Philippines?
Philippines? Okay. I'm either imagining like Western Europe or SA.
Yeah, it's either Europe or SEA.
All right.
Ice cold, so it is European. No, it's because the flour like threw me off.
Torta. Wait.
Turtle?
Italy.
Mimosa.
As an Italian cake, traditionally associated with International Women's Day, celebrated by March 8th, the dessert mimosa is inspired by the mimosa flower. Oh, it's a women cake. Yeah. Chat. They cook their women.
First the femboys and now the woman? Leave me something.
We did good, chat. I'm so proud of you.
I'm gonna pat you on the back. Give me head rubs.
Eh.
Intestines?
Eh. Pork intestine, pork
I'd eat
stomach,
that.
pork throat. I'd eat it cooked.
This is like the
This is
UK?
not a dish though. This is just like a thing on a platter. Like you can't. What?
No, maybe you can eat it by itself.
Fine.
Right?
We'll go England. We'll go United Kingdom. Hot. Scotland. That would be borders.
You're hot and you're cold and you're yes and you're no.
Maybe Norway. No.
What's the country with the really stinky fish? That's Swedish, right?
Iceland. Sweden, yeah, probably.
What's it called?
I don't know where. I don't know where we are.
And Dilly? I've never heard of this before.
Denmark, maybe?
Is this French?
France. What?
No, look at the name.
Oh, Andouille.
What's the name?
Wait, that's not Andouille. Andouille's like... Is it really? No, we
Oh
gotta
yeah,
look
no, it
this up.
is. I'm looking at it. Oh, when it's smoked, it's red. It was before it's smoked.
Oh! Oh! This is what Andouille looks like.
Yeah, that's after it's smoked, though.
Yeah, why would they show us a picture before it's cooked? Oh, I'm not showing you. Why did they show us a picture before it's cooked, chat? This is what it looks like.
Looks like chips, though.
It does not look like this. It looks like this.
Kind of like wood chips. Eat it.
Don't eat wood chips. Enjoy your eeps. I believe in you. Yum.
Good night. I hope you dream of the Scrans. Ice cream.
Italy.
Damn.
What do you mean? That's gelato.
No, it's not.
It has egg
Doesn't
whites,
look
sugar,
like
vanilla, extracted lemon juice. I know, like, but the instructions. Oh, guava syrup.
Yeah.
That is Mediterranean.
Hope you don't dream of sausage. I hope you dream of excessive amounts of sausage.
Yep. Okay. We're close. Jamaica. Yeah, you're right. It's too fluffy. It's too fluffy.
Is Pumila?
It's near Jamaica. Mexico. Cool. Okay. Maybe South America. Brazil?
Brazil?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where this would be. What's in South America?
Spain is not in South America.
Oh, was it near Spain?
Spain is not near Jamaica. Portugal's also not near Jamaica, chat. So for those of you who don't know, we have the warm, ice, cold thing on the bottom right. Let me move a little bit so you can see it better. The warmer it is, the closer it is to that area. So it has to be South America because we're close to in Jamaica. Mm-hmm. So Cuba.
What country has the hot pink cone?
Ecuador. It does look good though.
I would not have guessed that.
I don't think about Ecuador a lot.
T889. Wait, Galangao.
Where's it from?
Is this Tom Yum? Vietnam. Try Vietnam.
China.
China.
Okay. Thailand? Is Tom Yum?
I don't think it's Thailand.
Thailand.
Oh, was it?
Hmm.
That makes sense.
That was one.
Is it because of the...
Ooh. Ooh.
Hong Kong.
Hong Kong?
Hong Kong, that's pineapple bun.
It looks so good.
Yep, that's a... Yeah. Yeah, that's a Hong Kong bakery butter. Yep.
That looks so good. That looks so good. Oh, I love that.
I will buy one and eat it for you tomorrow.
Beef kimchi, soy sauce. I mean, what do you think this is from?
I wonder, this might be from Iceland. Me freaks.
No, I'm putting Iceland.
No! Korea.
What are we putting? Korea?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it is.
Nailed it. Yeah, it's Wales.
Yippee!
Look at us.
Nah, bro,
Shit.
it's from Argentina.
We suck.
No. Look at that 0.
All right, it's time for plate off.
There you go.
Ooh. That is an ideal meat pie.
That looks so... Oh, these both look so good. I'm in pain.
Can I
Why
be
are you
honest?
sleeping on me?
I don't like meat pie.
Really?
Because meat pie is pie with meat. There's no veggies or anything else.
See, that's like for me, I can have meat and veggies, but I love meat by itself. Like I'm a super carnivore.
You're wrong.
I didn't say to vote for it.
You're wrong.
Oh!
I gotta go with Vietnam.
You do. These are both pretty good, but yeah.
Or Australian. Is that just beef jerky?
It's just a jerky meat, yeah.
Air dried cure meat, yeah. I kind of want that really bad though.
It's actually really good. I think I've like tasted it before. Yes.
Which one?
That's a really sad bangers and mash. It's like they try to gourmet it, but like they kind of fucked up the mash. Wolf.
They messed up this egg.
Gotta go with the... It's just how it's presented too.
They cooked
Honestly,
it.
these are
They
both, like...
hardcore overcooked this egg.
Oh yeah, you don't like hard-boiled eggs, don't you?
Well, yeah, but also like just like when you do a thing like this, you're supposed to get the middle like custardy, not like cooked all the way through.
No, not in Asia. In Asia, we love super hard-boiled eggs, but I love the custard. Yeah.
Ooh, this is just somebody went to a restaurant, took a picture.
Chicken in the cell! No, Gene, you gotta do, please. Oh my God, please.
Okay.
I'm begging. Yes! I win.
What is this
Ooh.
K-Mac? What is this? Why does it look like that? Why is it so...
Gene,
what's up, Grimlock?
I'm showing you my K-Mac. I'm showing you my K-Mac. Please
Grimlock,
respond.
go to bed!
How long have you guys been awake for? Holy moly.
Is it because I didn't stream last night so people didn't have their bedtime ritual?
Why didn't you stream last night? I missed the reason why.
I was doing overtime.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
That's fair. Cute Binka. You gotta do the Binka.
No! Who was eating bag? Ooh, cookie.
Binka
Hot
is
pot.
so good.
I knew it. I'm sorry. Chat, I want to go to Hotbot today.
Why are you sorry? Selchipapa? Is it just sausage and... What is that?
Hot dogs, frying them until crisp. That's hot dogs.
It is hot dogs.
Which one?
I'm gonna cook you that way.
Don't cut me up into thin slices. I don't want to be thin slices.
You want to be fat, meaty slices?
Let me be a meaty slice.
You want to be a bunch of chunks? Be chunks of meat?
Kakashi is slowly catching up. Yeah.
Oh no.
Let me be
Thick
thick
sliced.
cut.
I mean, he is thick sliced. Get the what is that? Cachopo. Yo.
So do you want dog food? I don't doubt the one on the
No.
left is good, but like, why is the photo like this? Let me be a
It's
steak
'cause it's like
fry.
an egg. Egg.
Egg.
The eggs are staring back at you. Egg.
Egg. I kind of want the egg.
Egg. Why is egg in just breakfast food? You know what I mean? It's just egg.
Because if it's not, it's usually mixed into something.
Egg.
Back home.
Thick cut. Hydrate and stretch.
I don't
Hydrate and
wanna.
stretch.
I don't wanna.
Hey. Hey. Hey.
No, make me.
Stretch. Okay.
I'm so tired.
Imagine there's a really big dog treat on the ceiling and you have to reach for it. Stretch.
Reaches for ground. There we go. I'm also hydrating. Ah!
Yeah, but work. Don't spill your shit again, Wolf.
Can I run my shit again? Ow, don't hit me.
Hey, Wolf, you said it.
Woof.
There you go. Good boy.
Japan.
Wake up.
I was wrong. China? What are you laughing at? China.
Don't question me. Don't question me.
Korea. Korea.
No, that's cold again. Korea's right next to Japan. It's in between. It's not gonna be it. No.
Vietnam.
Maki me? I don't know where this is from.
Philippines.
I've never had that.
It looks
Filipino
good.
Chinese. Wait, does it say which area of the Philippines it's from?
Philippine China communities. It does look like a different dish.
Oh, that's why. Binondo, Manila. Yeah, that's not where my family's from.
Wake up. Hi, Gibbets.
very
Grab a brush and put a little
central-
makeup. Oh, Taboki!
Oh, I'm hungry.
Taboki! I love Taboki!
I wanna swim in it.
Taboki's so good. I'm about to.
Why is Pink sniffing me?
We
Pink,
sniffing?
why are you sniffing me?
No, my
You're
sinuses.
sniffing me.
Okay, I'll be right back again. I need to go blow my nose. Funny, entertain them.
Okay. Alright. What's up, chat? What's up, chat? How's everyone been? Because you sniffable? What does that mean? I'm not a scratch and sniff. You're a scratch and sniff. I just woke up. Let me sniff. See, at least you're being polite and asking. I don't. Excuse me. I don't stink. I smell just fine. I'm not wet. When was I out? Making me cry. Pink hates me. Chat. How dare you? You know what? I'm not gonna speak until Jean gets back. I'm not gonna say anything. No, Pink hates me. It's confirmed. They called me stinky. Harumph. Harumph. I miss Jean. I don't know where Jean went. I think he muted on Discord too. No, he didn't. Chat being mean. Chat, I bet Chat's stinky. That's why you're bullying me. I need to go and do not disturb. My Discord is popping off. Oh my god. It's on Spoon Duty. What is it, Ping? You don't call me stinky again? Can you hear me? Oh, you can't even hear me. Wow, wow. You're throwing shade? You're throwing shade on mute? Imagine, wow.
What was that?
Ping called me stinky. Chat was bullying me. They made me cry.
Why'd they make you stinky?
No, no. Pink said I'm stinky and then bullied me, made me cry, and then they laughed at me.
That's fair.
What?
Huh?
What do you mean?
I can't reach you. There's an invisible wall here.
Look, they're bullying you now. They're calling you stinky.
Chat.
Are you a frog? You turned to toad.
I am. Anyways.
Are you a big warty toad?
I'm Spider-Man.
No, you're not.
Where's this from?
You're from New York.
America, actually. or it's from France.
That could just be from my kitchen. I'm just looking at the photo. That could just be from my kitchen.
France. It's a croquet monsieur.
I just call it cheese sandwich or fam.
What? No. It had the bread is cooked in a certain way. It's like it's like a French bread sandwich, almost a French toast. So tired. I hit the back button. Oh no. Oh, we're good.
Are you an EP puppy? Ooh, this is
so EP.
It's the weather today. Of course you get it instantly. Oh, this is...
Crockett.
This is either Philippines or Indonesia.
Philippines.
That's a frog. Pretty sure that's a frog.
Indonesia? There you go.
Yep, it's a frog.
That's chicken.
That's such a tiny chicken!
Yeah. It's called a hen chicken.
Oh, it does say chicken. I did not see that. But...
It's okay. It's hard to read sometimes.
It's because you ate my brain earlier. I can't read no more. Oh, it's...
What?
Gotta take a photo of this.
What?
Your screen.
No! Not the milk bone treats made with Jif. Why am I being advertised? Honestly, that sounds kind of sick, though. I would totally eat. Anyways.
You are a dog. You are a dog.
It's gone. It's gone. It's gone.
No.
Let's see what other games they got. Thirdle. Kinda hard golf.
Everyone on Crimea. Wait, whoa, what's going on? What's going on?
We're cuddle piling Crimea.
Oh! Wait. Oh. Well, good timing, I guess.
You heading out?
Oh, dude. I don't know what the new call sound is, but it's super annoying. It's like super loud, too.
Alright, bye. Have fun.
I love you, chat. And because Gene doesn't love me, so I love you, chat. See, he didn't deny it. He didn't deny it.
Why would I deny it? I don't deny lies because they're lies.
Well, why don't you say it's a lie?
Go do your thing. You're getting called. Leave.
He hates me.
Bye. And Vanya is gone, chat. How's everyone else doing? Are we alive? We alive? I'm barely alive. Chat, you want to go take a nap? What if the rest of the stream is just nap time? How about we go lay down? I wonder if you could still hear me if I lay in bed. Chat, we're going to test this out. Give me a second. Let's see if you can still hear me when I'm in bed, okay? All right. Chat, can you hear me now? Can you still hear me? I took my headphones off, so I don't know if you can hear me. Chat, can you still hear me? How quiet am I? Am I too quiet? Pretty low? Really? I could totally stream from bed. This is great. Okay. Welcome to Gene being in a bed stream. I'm lower than the music? No! Alright, good night, chat. We're gonna take a nap. Sleep well. I am considering it. Oh, I'm definitely considering one day. You'll be funny. I will. Imagine when I have my 3D model going to just lay down in the middle of stream, and then we were like, is he asleep? He's actually asleep. What the heck is going on? Oh, I'm definitely going to be ending the stream at like 6, I think. Yeah. So we got about like 20 more minutes. Then I'm going to go take a nap because I'm supposed to be doing a gaming with a friend at 10. So I'm going to try to make up for none of the sleep that I had, because I had a total of 3 hours of sleep last night. I'm so smart. I'm so good at being a human. I'm the best human that you've ever met. Oh, because I had to type in comments on my TikTok post. That's why. I'm still not done. I'm still not done. I responded to TikTok replies, and it was, oh, my arms. Thank you for the sub. Thank you. I got 4 hours of sleep. I tried. Or 3 hours. So I'll get a nap in a little bit. I'll sleep for 2 more hours. That way I can make a total of 6. I could sleep for 4 hours, actually. That'd be nice. Tings wicked rigs. I said I would. And my hands hurt. I might give up, because that's why I didn't upload a TikTok last night. Because I was, oh, hey, 3 new subs. Nice. We're doing things. We're winning. I could eat nuggies. I should eat nuggies. I would never bugger you off. I don't. How do you bugger? What is buggering? Chat, explain to me buggering. You sound so nice. I can sound worse. Give me a second. Why are there so many songs about rainbows and what's on the other side? Chat, teach me how to bugger. Teach me how to bugger. Teach me how to bugger. I'm gonna go look up how to bugger. Give me a second. How to bugger. Oh, chat, you want to watch this together? All right, I'm gonna show you all how to bugger together. You ready? Kakashi, I hope you're making a joke. All right, here's how to bugger. Yeah. Here's a bugger. How to tie a perfect woolly bugger. That's what you're talking about, right? Anyways, that's enough of that. Even for a bit, it's not worth it. Ah, got you. Okay, so walk me through what buggering is. I'm ready. Teach me. Teach me right now. Teach me right now to bugger, chat. What do I need to do? What's the first thing I do for buggering? I'm ready. Educate me. Mostly butt stuff. What do you mean butt stuff? What are we talking about? I'm sorry, I haven't been reading chat, so I have no clue what we're talking about now. Except apparently a bugger is a thing that you put on the end of a hook. I do not believe in British people. It's true. Hello, Pomo. Very true, very true. And why would I believe in the British? Like, that accent, clearly made up. Nobody's ever spoken. I forgot this for you, Sinful. Imagine if England was real. That'd be so cool, but it's not. I would like some tea. Stop trying to sell me tea! I knew it. I knew it. The British accent's only there to make you want to buy tea. Yes, it's true. It's true. I knew it. Oh, well, thank you so much for the Wadim. No. Refused. Oh. Don't feel offended. Be offended. Be. Oh, wait. Okay, good. I'm not sharing screen anymore. Da 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 da. Force feed him tea? No! I love tea. You shouldn't have to force feed it to me, but also, no. No, no, no. Not allowed. I kind of want tea. Yeah, you made a fake British lady and had fever-induced hallucinations for 2 years. That actually makes me feel better. You're welcome, Gibbets. Congratulations on being hallucinogen. Crazy. Congratulations on being crazy. I'm so proud of you. Oh, can I don't have any sugar. I have no sugar in the house. How do I have no sugar? How do I have no sugar? Who took my sugar? Which one of you was it? One of you took my sugar, and I'm so upset. I'm too bitter? Well, how will I be bitter? Why am I bitter? You can't have sugar? You can be sugar. Do you wanna, can I dunk you in my tea and flavor my tea with you? What do you think? I did lucky in a rubber room with rats. The rats made me crazy. Crazy? I was crazy once. They put me in a room. A rubber room with rats. The rats made me crazy. Crazy? I was crazy once. They put me in a room. Rubber room with rats. The rats made me crazy. Crazy? Hey, Chad, did you know I was crazy once? Oh, you know what we could do? Let's play CloverPit for a little while. It's been a bit. I've been loving CloverPit. We're gonna gamble. It's gamba time. Why? Why would you choose that voice out of all the voices you could make me do? You know there's other voice redeems you can do, right? I mean, please, please, please. There's so many other voices. Why is that the one you want? So upsetting. I like my men like I like my tea. Heat it up to boiling and then put in water. Yeah. I like my men like I like my coffee. Brazilian and in a bag. You needed your spirits lifted this morning? And this is how you raise your spirits? This is what you do to raise your spirits? Is you bully me? That's so mean. Why? Why would you possibly want to do that? It's not fair. It's definitely not fair to me. And now we can go to this one. All right. Sorry about that one. Here we are. We're back in this one. Girlie. Oh, God, as a Southern, I'm mindly curious as to if this is going to be awful. I mean, it ain't the worst. Ain't the best either. Have you not been here when I done this voice? One of my favorite. Can't do the truck commercial right now. My brain is too slow. Ain't nothing going on in this head right now. Ain't not a single thing going on in this head. All I do right now is look pretty. Pretty. And dumb. Is it nerdy? No, that's fair. That's fair. Well, I mean, I hope you enjoy your time here. Wait, does that mean your first stream was one of them ASMR streams? Interesting. Very, very interesting. You're right. I don't do voices in the morning. Thank you for following user 737167. I love your name. It's a great name. All right, it's CloverPit time. I'm going to turn off the music in the background. Oh, right. There we go. And now we're going to pause the music.
Smooth brain, no ridges or lumps, no wrinkles or bumps. Thoughts slide right off.
That's true. That's true. That's exactly who I am. Exactly. Got spelled yesterday. I don't know what is it about your name, but I'm like, I've seen that name before. I haven't. But what if I had? What if I had, chat? It's time. It's time to gamble. Let's do it. All right, what are we doing? What do we got? We ain't got nothing yet. This one. All right, here we go. Believe in me that believes in you that believes in the heart of the cards. There it is. I'm sorry, the what machine? Woo-woo! Sleuts, the sleuts machine, the gene machine. I'm not a sleut. I'm just jorking. Why are you jorking? Oh. That one seems fun. I think that's a good early one. I can't even bugger. I'm sorry, I never learned how to bugger. You can't blame me for that one. Oh, I guess we're done with this voice, aren't we? You ready? And lastly, wait, how do I even do this one? If I can remember how to do. There it is. There it is. There's the freaking voice. I knew it was up there somewhere. We have 3 minutes of this voice, and we're gonna keep hitting this button. Hit this button once. Hit this button twice. Go it again. Come on, give me something. Where is all of my slots? It's Sylvester. Sylvester. Yeah, we did it. We love slots. I actually am going to a casino resort in a few weeks. We'll take you with you. Hello, Angel. You Angel person, I wanted the nuggets. You would be surprised how many people wanted nuggets. We're doing their nerd voice right now. We have about 2 more minutes of it. Do you know what's funny? I looked at my statistics afterwards to see that stupid, how many people chose what. The most used term in the entire TikTok was nuggets. Nuggets was the most used term. Which is kind of silly to me. I would never abandon you. What? I would never abandon you. I've been feeding people. It's just taking so long. You're right. I'm sorry. I've been eating all the nuggies myself. It's true. I've been keeping them for myself. Give me something good. Give me something good. There's absolutely no spit over the monitor because I just do the voice very, very, very well. When I catch you, Gene. When I catch you. Not allowed. Can't catch me. Ooh. All right, chat. It's time. You ready? Pick a vote. Pick a vote. Hold up. Add the gambler trait. Add the ambitious trait. Double jackpot value. What you got for me? What you got for me, chat? Oh, don't hit me. Why are you hitting me? Why? So mean. Why do you do this? Why do you keep doing this? Stop tying the vote. Thank you. Thank you for the head pats. I appreciate it. Ooh. 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 Ooh, okay. That one's solid. That one's solid. Let's go. Okay. I finally figured out what these do, by the way. The flashing are different abilities.
Let's go.
Yay! We're doing it. I'm proud of us. I can't stop winning. I can't stop winning. I'm doing so bad. Bing bong. Bing bong! Your Vlani did get approved. Thank you for the bits! Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate them. I do, I do, I do. We're doing really badly this round. This might end soon. Thank you for the check-in, Onyx. Hi, hi, hi. Fine, I will give you nuggies. You will be allowed nuggies, okay? Do gooder? I'm trying to do gooder. It's so hard. Go. Cut me, it can't make me do anything. Yeah. Amazing. Do we have enough money? Not allowed. You can try all you want. But like, how are you gonna get on this side of the bars, huh? Huh? Stay stuck. Stay stuck, nerd. And guess what I can do now? Guess what we can do now that you're in the cage? Is this what you get for trying to fight me? Get shaked, nerds. Get shaked. You've been shaked. Enjoy your shaking. There you go. You've been shooketh. We do have to read poetry. Alright, chat, vote for something. And while you vote, I will go find poetry to read. I will drink some water. Cryptic values? Nice. How long is the bells? A little long. I might read a bit of it, okay? We'll read 2 stanzas to start. You ready? Thank you for highlight cryptic value. Okay. Hear the sledges with the bells, silver bells. What a world of merriment their melody foretells. How they tinkle, tinkle, tinkle in the icy air of night, while the stars that oversprinkle all the heavens seem to twinkle with crystalline delight. Keeping time in a sort of runic rhyme to the tinabulations that so musically wells from the bells, 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 from the jingling and the tinkling of the bells. Hear the mellow wedding bells, golden bells. What a world of happiness their harmony foretells. Through the balmy air of night, how they ring out their delight, from molten golden notes, and all in tune with liquid ditting floats, to the turtle dove that listens while she gloats on the moon. Oh, from out the sounding cells with a gush of euphony voluminously wells. How it swells, how it dwells, oh, the future, how it tells of the rapture that impels to the swinging and ringing of the bells, 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 of the bells, 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 to the rhyming and the chiming of the bells. And there we go, 2 stanzas. Don't chew in the bars. Bars are illegal. Okay. Why do you always pick this one, chat? Why do you always pick this one, chat? There we go. Wish me luck. We have 1 spin. Oh, okay, we can actually buy another spin now.
Let's go again.
We have 1 win. We have 1 round left. We have to make so much money. Okay, we're gonna sell some things. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I bought the wrong one. Okay.
Let's go get it.
Ooh, wait. Can we do this? It's actually going surprisingly well. Come on. Well, game over. But that was fun, chat. Thank you for hanging out. We got to do Scrandle this morning. We're gonna pee real quick. Wait. 2. I didn't hit it. I was gonna try to do it. Didn't work. Yeah, stream was a lot of fun today, guys. I loved hanging out. We got to do Scrandle. We got to game a little bit. I mean, fine. We can end the stream like this if this makes you feel a little bit better. Is that what you want? But let me find somebody that we can raid out to. I think right now I'm waiting for... There it is. We got it. Okay, chat. We're going to go raid into the Dar show. That's what I've been waiting for. Anyway, so we're going to raid into Dar right now. And y'all be cool. Go say hi. And we're going to call them a nerd when you're going, okay? You are a nerd. There you go. There's the raid message. Copy and paste it. You ready? We're going to send you out there. It's been great to have all of you here. Mwah. Y'all be amazing. Bye for now. Mwah. Mwah.